Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of stress or tension to feel like it's melting away. So much so that as you breathe out, feel that tension, that stress, leaving your body in your outward breath. So that on the next inward breath, there is a vacuum in which resourceful relaxation can fill, giving you a sense that you're becoming more and more resourceful with each and every breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice with your eyes closed, you can become aware of things you weren't aware of before. Perhaps the speed of your breathing. If you focus hard, maybe you can even detect a pulse, a heart rate. Maybe you can become aware of any tension in your forehead, eyelids, or jaw. Realizing that your focused attention is a stepping stone to focusing on internal sensations and representations. Maybe a memory, maybe a thought. So as you breathe in and breathe out, allow your imagination to create an image of a lake. Imagine at first the lake is choppy. Perhaps small waves there on the surface of the lake. But notice as you breathe in and breathe out, slowing down your breathing, the surface of the lake becomes still. Allow the stillness of the lake to mirror the stillness of your mind. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine you've got the ability to walk on top of that water. Maybe it feels slightly wet, but you don't sink into it. Feel how you would feel to walk just on the surface of that water, being able to support your weight, and feel a sense of lightness, a serene feeling of relaxation, as you can imagine exploring the lake from the still surface, breathing in, breathing out deeper and deeper. I want you to find a place in the middle of the lake where you've got incredible views of everything all around. Feel that lightness. And then just imagine you can rest on the surface of the lake, just like it's a soft, comfortable mattress to lie on. Maybe in the past you've rested on a waterbed, and just imagine that sensation. That the lake is your own personal waterbed, molding to your body, giving you the perfect ability to rest and relax. Your eyes getting heavier and heavier, breathing slower and slower. And I want you to recall a time that you were in a flow state. Some people define a flow state as the optimal balance of demands and resources. Perhaps you can recall a time there was a lack of resources, perhaps a lack of time, perhaps a short window of time to get something done. But I want you to feel that other resources were there: self-belief, competency, access to the resources of other people. I want you to see that version of you that had high demands, but you felt highly resourceful. And when you can see that version of you in the past, when you were in a flow state, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to observe. This is a version of you that rises to the challenge. That when the going gets tough, you become more resourceful. You didn't consciously decide that. Something in your unconscious activated whatever resources were necessary to get what needed to be done. So observe. Maybe there were subtle things that changed. An urgency, quick decision making, the skill of influencing other people, and maybe it was the ability to observe opportunities rapidly, evaluate those, be decisive. And if you can see yourself with resourceful qualities, able to surf the wave of demands in a way that it works for you rather than against you, then realize that that neural pathway that can access a flow state, if it existed before, can exist again. I want you to imagine stepping into that version of you in that flow state, much like a surfer surfing a wave, knowing it will only be temporary, but enjoying that state of flow for as long as possible. Flow states are like the perfect wave, elusive but enjoyable when you catch that wave and ride it as far as you can. Notice how you're breathing in that flow state, the tonality of your inner dialogue, the speed of thought, decisiveness, a deep inner belief that your resources meet the challenge, no overwhelm, no perception, no doubt, going all in to do what needs to be done. And while you're in that flow state, imagine thinking about the future. And the future back then may even be your present now. And imagine what it would be like to catch that flow state wave every morning. Perhaps it would need an evaluation of a challenge, certain things that need to be done in a certain window of time to make it challenging enough. Maybe there's rules and restrictions, what you can or cannot do. Maybe there's a limitation, just 1 cup of coffee in the morning. Maybe imagine seeing yourself drinking water, eating healthy. Maybe see yourself working out, preparing for the day. See yourself with unwavering laser beam focus. You're focused on what needs to be done, easily ignoring the distractions. See yourself with a particular facial expression, maybe focused, formidable, perhaps like a surfer riding that biggest wave they've ever ridden. A mixture of concentration but elation, enjoyment. Feel that this is a version of you going with the flow, and observe as that version of you is then making their way to work. You've woken up early, eaten healthy, exercised, and then perhaps learning on the way into work, so that when you arrive, perhaps one wave has dissipated and you're ready to ride that very next wave. And maybe the very next wave involves some kind of communication, maybe a phone call, an email. Observe that version of you looking calm, serene, yet focused, with laser beam, unwavering focus. Notice how this version of you has your eye on the prize, and the prize is whatever your priority is right then. Whatever is the single best use of your time is exactly where your focus lies. But it isn't the kind of focus that is angry or intense. See yourself with that calm focus. See yourself dealing with things that in the past would have caused anxiety or stress, just like water off a duck's back, tiny bugs hitting the windshield of a car. These things don't faze you. It doesn't even break your stride. I want you to recognize something in your facial expression while you're looking calm and serene. Perhaps you can recall a time there in your late teens, early 20s, driving a car. Imagine seeing that face, happy, content, feeling that you've got all the resources to deal with whatever demands life throws at you. See yourself with that bring it on mentality, unfazed, unflappable. See yourself in that flow state back then, knowing that in order to feel this state of flow, you need a wave. And from this point forwards, you will perceive the demands in your life not as waves that can knock you down, but as waves that you can surf. You need the waves to access the flow state. So imagine that you have the world in the palm of your hand, that finding these flow states is the pearl in the oyster, rare and elusive, but definitely there. As you breathe in and breathe out, open your mind to a new way of thinking of anxiety. I wonder what would happen if you believed that anxiety was not a curse, but a blessing. Your unconscious mind keeping you safe, keeping you prepared, warning you of the pitfalls that lie ahead. Imagine any thoughts of anxiety, sensations of anxiety, as your unconscious mind prodding you to pay attention, as your first thought is, how can I use this? How can this be useful? And most anxiety can be useful, because if there's a problem, you can preempt it. If there's a pitfall, you can avoid it. If there is a danger, you can do whatever's necessary to keep you safe. And if it's a worry, there is nothing that you can do about, then it's still useful for you to remind yourself to focus on the things you can do, the things you are in control of. So if your unconscious mind is willing to treat anxiety like a subconscious superpower to alert you of danger, your very own spider sense, let me know by nodding your head. And just imagine life without no stress at all. Some would call that boring, unstimulating, unchallenging. And recall of how many decisions you've made in your life that have led to more challenges and more demands. You've chosen the path that you're on, which means that your subconscious mind believes you can handle the demands that exist in your life, as you deep down believe that you are more resourceful than you ever realized, and you need the demands to grow, to learn, to access that flow state where you're surfing towards the very success that you desire. What you can let go of is the unnecessary symptoms of extreme anxiety and extreme stress, feeling like you can condense that unnecessary symptoms, feel like you can compress it into a ball of energy and then fire it up into the sky like a missile launcher, taking any of that pent-up energy that is no longer needed, firing it away, creating the optimal balance of calm serenity, yet focused attention. And notice as you breathe in and breathe out, your mind is already making the adjustments, changes. I want you to imagine waking up tomorrow morning, feeling that this deep belief that you are more resourceful than you realize is ingrained, part of your DNA, part of your cellular structure that cannot change. As you find yourself working out, learning, notice you start to perceive challenges and demands in a different way, almost like fuel. You need the challenges and the demands to be the version of you where you operate at your best, and feel like you've arrived at work, but feel like you've arrived at work with a superpower, the ideal cocktail of serenity, calmness, and focus, but constantly looking for the right challenge to become that wave that you can surf, giving you that flow state that makes work like fun and fun like work, making the whole thing almost seem effortless. Because even though it's challenging, your resources meet the demands. And then recall, all of this are just thoughts while lying, floating on a still lake that supports your weight. So imagine getting up off that lake, walking back to the shore, still feeling the lightness, but feeling like you've activated a bridge through space and time to activate more of these flow states, empowering beliefs that give you a sense that anxiety and stress can be used for you rather than against you, and feeling like you are one challenge away from surfing into the very next state of flow. As you breathe in and breathe out, feel like you're returning to the present as you wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, connecting fully in the present moment, acknowledging that this is just a journey in your imagination, thoughts within thoughts, ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams, and here, in the here and now, you are able to awaken resourceful, formidable, in an optimal state of balance. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.